Okay, so let us start. Welcome everyone to the Bridge Writers and our second presentation this year. Today we are going to have our dear friend Eduardo Martins, and I'm just going to introduce him briefly and tell you what he's going to talk about, general topics. So Eduardo is a physician. He is volunteer and researcher with Conscienciology since 1994. And he's also current UNIESCON coordinator. So UNIESCON, we will remind everyone, is the union of all conscienciologic published authors. So people who have already published at least one book. So Eduardo is, he graduated in medicine at Rio.
Around the world.
He graduated in medicine in Rio with a specialization in cardiology at Pronto-Cor. He is also specialized in ergometry, acknowledged by the Brazilian Society of Cardiology. He attended Cleveland Clinic International Scholarship Program in Ohio, the USA, and currently he is the founder of ICOR, or ICOR, which is a Behavioral Cardiology Institute. So Eduardo works as a physician, as a cardiologist in daily life, and is the clinical staff of Ministro Costa Cavalcanti Hospital in Foz do Iguaçu, also connected with the clinical staff of the Albert Einstein Israelite Hospital, and cardiology coordinator of the Municipal Hospital of Foz do Iguaçu. Eduardo is also the author of the book Consciencial Hygiene, which is published in Portuguese and English, at least, right? So everyone can read it. He's going to talk today about understanding mental somatic de-intrusion as the main tool to develop GESCONOLOGICAL intelligence. So this way, GESCONOLOGICAL intelligence associated with evolutionary intelligence becomes the best way to overcome writer's block. And in this case, obviously, writer's conscienciological block. Okay? So, everyone, I give you Eduardo Martins. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you, Liliana. I really appreciate this invitation to be here with my English friends. That's why I published Consciencial Hygiene in English 2 years ago. And I just thank to ISIC, that is this international institution that, talk about conscienciology all over the world. And this program, the Bridge Writers, that I think is a great program to motivate people all over the world to become a writer, a conscienciological writer. I think this is one of the best tool, the best way to, how can I say, to develop this kind of deep self-de-intrusion that is the mental somatic de-intrusion. And in this class, I would like to talk a little bit about this and other points that we will start now. Let me suggest, I have a suggestion here, that you guys, you can make some questions. I will take 30 minutes in the end of presentation to talk about questions and doubts that maybe you have. So you will see that my English is not the best English like Liliana and Mary Ellen that they are here, I think, in this class. But I think I can, inform you and try to clarify informations of this issue, okay? So if I say some word that's not clear, please, in this case, please, you can interrupt me, Liliana can interrupt me and try to find another word more clear, you know. The important here is we talk about advanced conscientiology. I think the title, GESCONOLOGICAL intelligence, is my new verbit. How do you say verbit? Yes, verbit. I'm writing about this at this moment. Is a new verbit. I'll publish in some months. You will see, but it's in Portuguese. Sorry, but here the first time I'm talking about this is in English. So I think this is a yeah. Really, this is a fact. The first time I'm talking about this, I'm talking English, and this will be a course too. An online course too in Portuguese that I'm offering to CEAEC, okay? We will have the consensual hygiene on May 10th, and this course, Inteligência Gesconológica or Gesconological Intelligence, will be an online course for CEAEC. Okay, so please interrupt me.
Just one thing. In which case, if it's that, if this is the case, we will be able to have simultaneous translation in English and Spanish. Very likely.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe. Good idea. So Liliana talked a little bit here about the proposal of this class, but let's see again. Understanding mental somatic self-de-intrusion as the main tool to develop gesconological intelligence. See that mental somatic self-de-intrusion is the deeper self-de-intrusion of the holosomatic vehicles, let me say that way. This way, gesconological intelligence associated with evolutionary intelligence becomes the best way to overcome writers' gesconographic blocks. So, I want to talk a little bit more about evolutionary intelligence. I think, guys, that you have to go deep in this issue, okay? Why? Because evolutionary intelligence is the intelligence of the intermissivist. And it's important to understand what is this. And gesconological intelligence is just possible if you understand evolutionary intelligence. So I want to say again, because this is very, very important, and I will say slow, okay? Gesconological intelligence is just possible to develop if you understand evolutionary intelligence. And we'll talk about this during the class, okay? So this is the four main topics of the class: evolutionary intelligence, mental somatic self-de-intrusion, gesconographic blocks, and gesconological intelligence. So let's see what is it, evolutionary intelligence. I think you understand a little bit of this, but let's try to go deep a little bit here. Evolutionary intelligence is the ability to perceive, learn, understand, and adapt to human life based on the application and expansion of theory plus practice. Self-conscious of the already assimilated mechanism of personal evolution, there included cosmoethology, ceaexology, and proexology. This defines self-discernment of consciousness as regards its rational conscious evolution, including the evolution of lucidity in the dynamization of its self-to-thin and cosmoetic performance. Okay, let's understand what is intelligence, okay? Intelligence is an ability or a set of, or a way to manage some set of abilities. So imagine about you are driving a car, okay? So to drive a car, you have to have a geospace intelligence just to understand where you are, you know, where to look at, to left, to right, you know, plus the ability to drive the car properly, like the shift, you know, the direction, everything. So to drive a car, you have to have a set of abilities. And the geospace intelligence is the intelligence to help you to drive a car. Let's see another kind of intelligence, communicability. Communicability, it's not just the way to talk, you know, to speak. Communicability is the way you look, is your posture, you know, is sometimes a person say everything just with one kind of eyes, like you can say about this. So communicability is a set of ability that express yourself. So when you understand intelligence, you have to differentiate the intelligence of the capability. There is a book in Portuguese, is Sem Medo de Errar, or like No Fear to Have a Mistake, like that, No Fear of Mistakes. Is from the New York Times journalist. It's from 2015, if I'm not wrong. And she says about the difference of capability and intelligence. For example, when a child, your child, if you say to your child, listen, you are very, very intelligent. This is not the best way to educate a child. Why? Because intelligence is a conquest. Can I say conquest? Is a conquest. How? If you develop your capabilities, for example, in case of communicability, you train your way to say, you train your hands, you train when you keep quiet, for example, everything. You can train many capabilities. When you train many capabilities, maybe you can achieve the intelligence of that issue, okay? So, evolutionary intelligence is intelligence, a way of manage a set of abilities. For example, Dr. Waldo talked for us here in this definition. He talks about cosmoethicology. To become more cosmoethical in our day life, you have to develop some capabilities. To think in others, for example, to study your intention, what's your intention, to understand about extraphysical consciousness, to understand energies, to discriminate energies. This is a set of capabilities, okay? Cosmoethicology. Another specialty is CEAECology, to understand past lives, okay? And to live these ideas of your past, you know, not as Hollywood says, or, you know, finding some big personality in the past, okay? So this is some capabilities to understand CEAECology. And praxeology, that is the existential program. So evolutionary intelligence is a way of manage many kind of evolutionary capabilities. So returning the child example, The best way to educate a child is to say, oh, son, you are very or you are very smart. You are developing your capabilities. Go ahead, go deep. Don't give up. And not you are very, very intelligent. Because child or children that understand this way, on this way, they are like negative, positive. They're bipolar way to understand, not a dynamic process to develop. They say they understand life as positive, negative, you know, smart or intelligence or dumb. I'm a dumb, I'm not intelligence. And this is not the way to understand intelligence. And I bring here this slide just to show you the importance of vibrational state. I think that I know that vibrational state is a basic issue in conscienciology, but listen, vibrational state is like a warming synapses. When you are in a bad position or with some kind of disagree emotion, in conflict, emotional conflict, okay, it's very difficult to separate things. You know, what I'm feeling is too bad. Okay, I'm not feeling bad. But how can I tamponate these emotions? You know, how can I become more aside of the emotion? It's very hard, very difficult to do that without vibrational state. It's very difficult. So vibrational state, when you install the vibrational state, when you move your energy with, you know, with strong power, with strong will, what we're saying, what we're doing, you are doing a warming synapses, you know, like you are hitting your synapses. And this will facilitate the separate of the things, these things. Consciousness, emotions, okay? But this could be like, how can I say, dry eyes or eye, you know, when you try to dry eye or clean the floor with the water, you know, how can I say torneira? But it's a job that is with no end. How? Sorry?
Faucet.
Faucet, yes. You are cleaning the floor with the faucet open, you know. Why? Because the problem, it's not just in emotions. Maybe the problem is in the way of think, you know. I will talk about this later. But this slide is here just to emphasize that vibrational state is the main tool, you know, of the evolutionary intelligence. And here, just to think or to reflect a little bit about our immortal condition of consciousness, we will not die. And this is very important to understand, you know, deeply. We will not die. We will continue after this interphysical life. So maybe some people don't understand this issue because some people has this like virus in the mind, you know, or too much connected with the life or the value of the life, interphysical values, you know, and this is a problem. So when you start really study evolutionary intelligence, one of the points that becomes more clear is this: we will not die. And this is a graphic just to show this condition: interphysical, astrophysical, interphysical, astrophysical, interphysical, astrophysical. You had many families. You were the father, mother, son, daughter, everything in the past. So this will not the first, neither the last way of manifestation you are now, like father, mother. You will change. You change gender, you change conditions of manifestation in future lives. So this is not, you know, the place where you live forever. I know that it's a theory process, but listen, uh, when you put this inside of your mind and you understand the consequences of this in our lives, this change everything, everything. And here you have the scale of the consciousness. Let me see my mouse here. Free conscious, you know, consensual extraphysical, free, the top when detached psychosoma, and the first is transmigrated cons real. That is the bottom level, you know, of the consciousness. We are here between Serenissimus and resummated cons real, Homo sapiens urbanizados. We are here. Okay, we have to study to understand exactly what consciousness we are. This scale, I don't know if Urbanizatus is in English. I think no, I think it's not in English, but you can find this PDF in Consensual Hygiene, my book, in the end of the book. And we arrive here in the holosoma. Why I put this holosoma here? Why, Eduardo? Holosoma is not a basic issue. What you are talking about holosoma in what you say is advanced idea of GESCONOLOGICAL intelligence? It's simple. All holosoma is a basic issue. You learn this in the first class of conscienciology. But when you leave holosoma, when you leave these vehicles, you know, when you leave what's going on with you, the way you express your emotions, this is holosoma. When you develop evolutionary intelligence, you qualify your perceptions of your holosoma. So if you try to understand and you go deep and develop the study, the research, self-research of evolutionary intelligence, your relations, the relations from your consciousness and your holosoma will become better and deeper. In other words, for example, your emotions, you will perceive your emotions. Our problem, basic problem here in this life is to understand our emotions, to understand our temperament, our personality. Is different, temperament and personality. Temperament is from the paragenetics, from your past lives. This is temperament. Personality you build in a life is a consequence of your temperament. To understand your temperament, you have to understand your holosoma. For example, am I too much authority? I express myself with much authority. You know, it's not from the same level of the people. I put myself, you know, in a spot, you know, in a superior, in a high level. When I talk to another person, this is a problem. It's one of the problems. And many kind of emotions, distortions. It's, you know, you can understand and you can correct, you know, when you develop evolutionary intelligence. Okay, and we have two brothers, Ships and Dunhead. I put this in my book, Consensual Hygiene. Ships and Dunhead, they have a research about emotions. And what they say that rationality is like a dwarf or a dwarf above the elephant. And the elephant is the emotion. Emotion is something very heavy and very hard to change. For example, when I'm feeling sorrow or anger, you know, or when I'm very proud, excessive proud of myself, for example, and many distortion, emotional distortions, is very difficult for the consciousness to separate. For example, to develop his or her self-criticize, like, well, I think that I'm very angry at this moment. Let me breathe, you know? It's difficult for that. When a person is angry, maybe he wants to explode everything, you know, they say many kind of words, bad words, you know. When it's sorrow, the person maybe become depressive, you know, that bad feeling, you know, like in the chest pain, like a chest pain. People feel like that. What can I say here, you know, to complement ships and then heads? I can say not just emotion is an elephant. I think that soma, psychosoma, and holo chakra and ergosoma, they are one elephant. And mental body and the consciousness are the dwarf. So to drive this elephant, it's not simple. And you can ask, which is or what is the best tool, you know, to drive this elephant? I can say is to understand evolutionary intelligence. Because when you develop this kind of intelligence, you can correct some kind of emotions inside of you. For example, panic syndrome, you know? Okay, panic syndrome is a medical situation. Okay, it's a medical disease. Yeah. This person needs to take some pills, you know, to calm down. But there is many differences between one person with panic syndrome that doesn't know anything about evolutionary intelligence and one person with the panic syndrome with evolutionary intelligence. Listen, this person, he can develop some kind of vibrational state, you know, calm down his mind or her mind, saying that, okay, now I'm in panic, so let me breathe, move my energy, let me evocate the helpers here, let move the energies, everything. So what is this? This is evolutionary intelligence. It's intelligence to not interview, but to intervene in the holosoma with your consciousness. Okay? So this is the dwarf driving 3 vehicles, not just one. Psychosoma, holochakra, and body, the soma. Okay, just a little bit. Let me talk about self-intrusion, not mental somatic self-intrusion. Let me say about the emotional self-intrusion. Let me see my time. How is my time? Okay, 30 minutes. Self-intrusion, for example, emotional self-intrusion. You are in an anger, you know, in an anger moment. You are, you know, talking bad words, think that the word is bad. At this moment, fear of coronavirus and, you know, fear of death, many kind of these emotions, distresses, okay? Okay, and you go to your room, your penta room, and do a vibrational state, evocate your helpers, and you clean up your psychosphere, and you stay okay. One day later, you see television, coronavirus, and many kinds of, you know, people dying, blah, 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 blah. Everything comes again, okay? And you stay bad again, fear, blah, 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 emotional distresses, and you have to install another vibrational state. So this is that what I'm saying, or I was saying about the try to dry a cube of ice, you know. Why? Because the problem, it's not in the psychosoma. The problem is in the mental body, you know. And it's important to do the intrusion of the mental body, because when you achieve the intrusion of mental body, is the same situation that happens in the company, some companies, the top-down principle. When the top is okay, you know, in the borders, the owner of the company is okay with her health, the company health, everything in the company will become healthy. All the employees, they say or they see that the owner is a healthy guy, and the company is worried with the health people, with the health employees, and everything contagiates all the people, all the persons of this company. The same situation occurs with the holosoma. When your mental body is de-intruded, you know, other bodies will become the intrusion too. Okay, so what is mental somatic self-de-intrusion? Mental somatic self-de-intrusion is the moment of maximum application of consensual attributes such as openness, lucidity, self-discernment, critical judgment, self-perceivability, mental soma and ergosoma connection, and intellectuality, in order to understand, face, control, eliminate, overcome, and finally, break with the pathologically based monoideism, ideational block, and nosographic mental construction from current or past lives. This leads to mental clarity, clear rationality, and deliberation of the cosmoetical, straightforward, tothenic flow, propelling evolutionary intelligence and contributing to attaining a new evolutionary level of greater intellectual and parapsychic conscienciological research. What can I say, or may I say here about this definition? That the main proposite or the main objective here is to understand, face, control, eliminate, overcome, and finally break with the pathologically based monoideism, ideational block, and nosographic mental constructions. Why do we do that? Why we have this kind of monoideism? Maybe I live with this kind of monoideism some years, many years, maybe many lives. And sometimes this kind of monoideism is associated with some temperaments, like religion temperament, politician temperament. One example, the politician temperament, they love to become more, or they love to become good, nice with everybody. So they want to become in a good position with this group, that group, and the other group. Listen, all the groups thinks different, but the politician wants to have friends and to become good with everybody. So what the politician says, he becomes a bifront face personality. He says something here for this group. For the other group, he says another thing, the opposite, to stay in a good position. And do the same with another person. Listen, this is not an emotional problem. This is a mental somatic problem. You know, it's a bifrontism, okay? Religion. The religion guy, he always wants, you know, to show that he's a pure person, you know, he's a pure person. So he talks about, you know, spirit, and he wants to stay all the time in a position of the others, you know. He wants to, he never wants to show that he loves the power to, like politician. So it's not the politician power, it's the power of influence, you know. All the, how can I say, os carneiros, agora me esqueci da palavra aqui, alguém sabe me ajudar? Carneiro.
The sheep.
There is a sheep or lamb.
Sheep, yes, yes, yes. So he or she wants to stay, you know, the leader of the sheep, you know, or wants to become a saint. Listen, this is the power, the same of politician. Politician wants to become president. Many religions wants to become, you know, bishop or, you know, saint or papa. This is a mental somatic problem, you know, and this kind of temperament create many personalities. Each life, in one life, become priest. Another life, it's not in religion, but the comportament, the behavior is all of a religion. Politician, the same. One life is a politic. Another one is a leader, communitarian leader. So it's not negative. Listen, it's not negative. It's the reality. We are, you know, we came from this kind of process. So it's important to understand where are you from in terms of temperament. Because mental somatic self, the intrusion, needs to understand your expressions, to understand where are you from, okay? So the mental clarity, clear rationality, and the liberation of cosmoetical straightforward Toscenic flow is a consequence of the self, the intrusion. Is a consequence. You feel really, really, really nice in your mind. Your mind is free. You know, it's free. You can develop your self-criticism about this. I have a friend, a casuistic case for you. I have a friend that once we have a little bit, you know, argue, and he said to me, "Oh, Eduardo, you know, I think you are connected with the monarchic process." And I told him, "Yes, I know that." But the main point is that this is not a problem for me. I know that, you know, I know that. But this is bothering you. The problem is not mine, you know. If this point of view is bothering you, I think you have to research this. Why monarchic bother you? Monarchic style way. You know, he doesn't know me so much because my process is not connected with the monarchy, but with the politician, okay? But in his view, he told me about this. But what I want to say about this is that you have to dramatize, let me say like this process, okay? Dramatize it. Can I say that?
De-dramatize. You have to
de-dramatize. Yes. Dramatize your position. Where were you from? You know, I think this is the point. So there are here a slide. There is a slide to understand self-intrusion or the intrusion. We can do the taxology. This is a slide from Maximilian Heimann from the course the Intrusion course we have in UNIESCON last year. All years we have this course, but I don't know if we will have this year again. Let me see. In August, September, we can talk about this. But we can classify as to agent, intrusion of a person on themselves, self-intrusion, intrusion by some other consciousness, hetero-intrusion. So self-intrusion, pathotocenity. People have a problem, okay? It's not clear, some things, some ideas, some emotions. So the guy have evolutionary action, anti-evolutionary action that develop affinity with pathotocenic, in the pathotocenic affinity, and this is an open door to the hetero-intrusion. So all hetero-intrusion start with the self-intrusion. In this self-intrusion, you know, we can talk about temperament, you know, monoideisms, and many kinds of self-intrusion. So mental somatic is self-the intrusion. How to develop? How can I develop my self-the intrusion, mental somatic self-the intrusion? And we can say sitting, reading, reflecting, writing, and teaching. And here we can say about the recycling your thoughts. What is mental somatic self-the intrusion? Is the intrusion of one's main holosomatic vehicle, then reverberating on all other vehicles, from the mental body to psychosoma, holochakra, and soma. Why? Because MSD occurs in the mental body, the top vehicle of the holosoma. It's like the principle we talk here, the top-down principle. Can I lead a normal daily life once the MSD occurred as I was writing my book? And this is the point. Yes, of course, yes. And this is what happens. Let me tell you about the prolixic guy. Prolixic. The guy that talk everything about all the time with many things, but you know, it's sometimes he or she, you know, don't understand their self.
Sometimes talks a lot and doesn't say much.
Yeah, talk too much, it doesn't say much, yes. Prolixic guy is very common when you are writing your book. You start to talk about, you know, pineapple and finishing talking about orange and bananas. So you don't have a coherence when for example, the title of your book and the title of a section and the title of the chapter and the paragraphs of this chapter, okay? This is a confused prolixic guy. When you understand that you are a prolixic guy, you can correct this process through your way of writing your book. So if you start to write your book, you have the first review, and the reviewer say to you that it's very confused. You know, you start talking about vibrational state, and you are finished talking about penta. You know, we can take this technique of writing a book to take this technique to your life. So what happens when you write your conscienciological book? What you change in your way of writing, you can change in your way of expression. This, I think, is one of the most interesting point of conscienciological gesconography, you know, intelligence, gesconological intelligence. Okay, what are the most common types of mental somatic intrusion? Let's see. Cognitive distortion. For example, write a book is not for me, man. It's for you. You are, you know, you are very intelligent. You know, I'm not. I'm a damn. You know, I don't have any idea how to write a book, you know. I think these authors, you know, publishing his books in New York, in Brazil, wow, I think here, it's very, very nice to see that. This person put like a huge space between he and he as an author, you know. Another one, monoideisms, people that just think in money, or people that is a workaholic, you know, work all day long and live this life for the job, you know, for the work. And I take this from the slide from Maximiliano Hyman too. It's very interesting. Dr. Aldo Vieira already wrote about it all. You know, why I can write something? Because Dr. Aldo wrote everything. You know, oh man, I'm okay here. And this is the best, I think is the best, is the best bad, you know, cognitive distortion. Another one is, I have a plan to write 4 books all the same time, at the same time, you know. He doesn't have any books and he wants to write 4 books in the same time. I don't know where to go, you know. So it's another kind, I don't know where to go, let me life change, takes me, like a song we have here in Brazil, let's life take me, I don't know where, but life knows. I don't know, but life knows. So there is a lack of sense of purpose. The person doesn't have any kind of purpose in intellectuality, in develop this intellectuality. Let's see another gesconographic blocks. Fear, gesconographic a priorism, self-worthlessness, intellectual sedentariness, dispersiveness, and monopolized biophilia. Biophilia is a verbate of Dr. Waldo Vieira in Encyclopedia. Okay, let me talk about fear. I studied fear too much this year. Is in my second book. I'm writing about a politician, the consciousness politician, but not politic. It's not about partidarism, political partidarism. I'm talking about consciousness, the parapolitics, that it's important for evolutionary intelligence. But okay, fear. Fear is an ambiguous emotion. When in fear, a consciousness, discernment shrinks back to the age of this fear. That is why many people in the face of a toxic event which triggers their memory act as if they were as old as that memory. In other words, they become children again, or the same person they were in some past life. I think this is the main point of fear. When you are in a fear condition, your discernment is the same of that memory. The majority of memories we have comes from child, you know, and your discernments go down and you feel like a child in panic. That's why panic syndromes take over of the consciousness. And I think this is the second main point that I would like to emphasize for you. Emotional state of fear agreeing with negative ideas. So listen, you are here with, for example, hurt, you know, hurt. Some happened in the past, you know, in your job, in your relationship, in your family, okay? And you have that memory, that person's, you know, you remember that and you feel bad. So these emotions, bad emotions. When you woke up, for example, in bad emotions, your ideas, you can agree with these bad emotions. I indicate here, but emotions in bad is in the head, okay? But people feel cardio chakra, you know, in bad emotions. So the ideas, the people like to, you know, agree with the bad emotion. So you have the bad emotions and you start to think, yes, I'm not a good person. You know, I know that. I did that. I had this mistake because I'm not a good person. So, and the ideas start, you know, to become the emotions. So the emotions swallow the good ideas. And this becomes one thing, bad. Bad emotions, bad ideas, bad everything. There is no vibrational state. There is no warming synapses. There is no how to separate things, bad emotions, me, myself, my ideas, you know, let me change here. Let me temperate these bad emotions with good ideas, with orthotophenic process, you know. Let's temperate. Let's put good ideas in these bad emotions. Person doesn't know how to do that. What is going on here? I have mental somatic self, the intrusion, you know, because I can see bad emotions, I can see bad energies. I'm not agreeing with this situation, and I'm changing by myself these emotional process. Human nature easily shows that human beings do not come close and run away from two things, pain and fear. Evolution suggests that the opposite, You need to move forward, get closer and face, go deep where there are pain or there is pain and fear. Fear of writing. Some intermissivists run away from writing activities in ICCC, Cosmoethical, Community, Conscienciological, International, it's like this. There is a reason for that, maybe back in their past. So this fear, this process of fear is a mechanism that is that occur with any kind of fear, like, you know, fear of right. I know people that have fear of writing. You know, I have a friend that he had afraid to put the fingerprint in his tongue. Remember, medium age. Some people were deaf. They were died, you know, with poison in the books. Comes from past life. So, do you think a person that died with a book in another life, he would love books? No, he will have, you know, books. It's not good for me. So it's important to put evolutionary intelligence in this process, you know, come closer, you know, you go deep and face the fear and, you know, enter in the fear, go inside the fear, you know, to develop, to change this situation. I came here, I brought here the hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal anatomy of physiology. We don't have many time.
Eduardo, you have 8 minutes. So.
Okay. So let me change. We talk about this later, but this is the process, the anatomic process to explain, you know, what happens in terms of fear inside of you. And you are seeing here, you know, this is neocortex. This is the rationality, you know, the rationality just in human being, the rationality talk to hypothalamic pituitary adrenal mechanism, you know, to calm down, you know, the dog, the monkey, they could do that, you know, they couldn't do that. Just us, just a human being. So you can, you know, disarm a trap, for example, a mental trap, talking with you, you know, having a dialogue with you. Gesconographic apriorism. To face our millennial reality, gray hair is not enough. it takes self-discernment and a lot of hollow maturity. And these two elements are learned over time with life experience and the maturity of consciousness. What I can say here is that person can think, you know, I definitely am not an author. I want to become author because, you know, it's not for me. And listen, this could be a priority. Why? Because this person could be an author in another life. We have here, it's crazy, you know, but we know people that had many books published in past lives, and in this life is a problem to write a book. This is high priorities. And the gesconographic priorism is the opposite of mental somatic, the intrusion. They are the opposite. So how to develop a skill if I truly believe I'm unable to learn this skill? Listen, this is a trap. This is a multi-existential trap. It's a consequence of the past lives. For example, as we talk here, this is not for me, I have other priorities, I do not have this skill. Gesconographic is for a different level of consciousness, not for my basic level. We have another block, is self-worthlessness. In self-worthlessness, the person does not value her own life. Not that he or she is depressed or that there is any other critical major emotional changes. But the fact is that her schedule has no space for herself. Listen, self-worthlessness is like you know, a soul. It's so inside the person. It's subtle, but people is not important for herself, for himself. You know, his schedule during the day. He attends son, daughter, husband, wife, jobs, everybody, but not he or she. We have other gesconographic blocks, intellectual sedentariness. You don't read, you don't write. Of course, you don't develop the intrusion, you know. Dispersiveness, people that don't have focus. So today, start a verbete. Tomorrow, want to write a book. Another day, want to write a paper. So there's no focus. There is no issue. There is no theme, you know, like something theme that is important for him, for her, you know, like the book. Listen, I had during 18 years thinking in consciential hygiene, 18 years. And if I start in 1999, listen, 21 years that I study homeostatic process of mind, you know, consciential hygiene, 21 years. You know, I don't give up. I think this is very, very important for this life and for my next lives. But I take advantage of consciential hygiene to develop other issues. Monopolized biophilia. Cut the fat. These days, COVID-19 does it for us, you know. So what I'm saying here now, monopolized biophilia is very important to understand that you are not having time for nothing. 24 hours a day, you just work, or you just take care of your body, of just your family. You don't produce anything in your mental body. And finally, we achieve the gesconological intelligence. In the beginning, I talk about difference between intelligence and ability, and the capability. We talk about other intelligence, communicability, para-intellectuality, parapsychism, special intelligence, okay? And writing a conscienciological book means understanding the role of our abilities and practice them from the first idea till the end of the book when it is published. GESCONOLOGICAL intelligence is the competence applied by a conscience to their set of graphotothenic abilities and skills like perception, learning, and understanding through continuous effort and investment in mental somatic self-intrusion, capable of providing the modus operandi of the heuristic intellectual parapsychic process in GESCONOLOGICAL basis, taking it as natural to write and produce a consciential gestation, congest or mega congest. And what is the abilities that you must or you may develop in GESCONOLOGICAL intelligence? Holosomatic self-criticism, because it's not important to publish a conscienciological book, you know, repeat all the issues that other authors already wrote. It's not this. It's your life. It's your recycling process that must go to the book. So it's important to have this self-criticism about your holosomatic. How is your ideas? How is your emotions? You know, how to tamponate some emotions, some wrong emotions, how to improve good emotions like that. Lucid reading, when you choose some books to read, you know, is very important, this lucidity to read. Mature reflection, when you stop your mind and you will reflect about what happens, about your personality, about your temperament, you know, try to recycling this to become better. Intraconsciential recycling is another ability, you know, important for the book. Change of behavior, how can I say, do que adianta, Liliana? Do que adianta?
So what does it matter?
Yes, what's the matter? Yeah, what it matter if you reflect, read, had a self-criticism, recycling your mind, but you don't change your behavior. You know, you continue to be an anger guy, you know, a victimized guy, or a sorrow guy, a proud, excessive proud guy, like that. And this is the ability interessant. Parascientific transmutation of personal experience. So the book is not a text that you say that everything about you. I am a guy that I had a sorrow, my hurt is about that, I'm suffering with some, it's not this. The book is the consequence of the recycling. So the question is, how to transmutate, how to change this problem, you know, in a scientific way to help people. So as we say here in Brazil in a joke, is transform the lemon in a lemonade, you know. The lemon in a great lemonade. Cosmoethical parapedagogical self-exposure. This is another ability. So when you publish your book, you don't become a star, you know. Now you go in auditorium programs and, you know, you are a star. You are not a star. So there is a dose of the process. Is the cosmoethical parapedagogical self-exposure. You will self-expose yourself in a cosmoetic way, not talking everybody about you, but talking about what is important of the issue you wrote. Copyright donation. You are prepared to give your life for this book and donate, you know, the copyright? Are you ready for that? Are you a large consciousness, or you are misery consciousness, and you are writing this book to gain money? You know, this is another ability. Book publishing. So how to publish your book? You know, you have an event, you know, you have prepared yourself, you know, you will confront with the people, you know, you talk about your book. Ostensible disclosure. This is a great problem. The guy wants to write a book. He does everything, 1, 2, 3, until the 10th topic. When active in the ostensible disclosure, he give up. He wants disclosure his book, you know, because, you know, I wrote, I did everything. Now let the editor, you know, disclosure for me. And this is not the correct way to understand, because your public is waiting for you for the the intrusion that your book and you will do when you disclosure your book in speeches, in radio station programs, TV programs, you know, everything. And finally, intermissive post-mortem harvest. What is this? When you publish your book, and after the publishing, you died, you know, you go to another dimension, and your public, you know, that with the book will read, and you will go there as a helper to help people read your book, to help people have the intrusion by themselves, but with your energy, with your power. Guys, we finish here. This is our courses now in online mode. We would like to invite you to join us in UNIESCON online courses from home, wherever you are. Maybe in June, we will have totally online the immersion in writing, immersion writing books, conscienciological book. Sometimes there's a book in Portuguese and English here in my mind, but it's an immersion in writing, okay, GESCONOLOGICAL books. So thank you, and now I'm here to answer some questions if you have it. Did you understand anything?
No, very good. Thank you, Eduardo. I think this is very clear, very good. So yes, we are open now for questions. Anything you guys want to ask, please feel free.
Okay, I'm here.
I have a question. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, my name is Pamela. I'm a student. I study medicine in Russian, but I'm from Brazil. And I have a question because I'm in my last year of university. I came from Spiritism. Now I'm getting knowledge about conscienciology. I knew conscienciology because of the work of Professor Valdo with Chico Xavier. And I think in the future I want to do doctor degree, PhD. And my main interest is in about mental health. And it's, I don't know, I can find many good information for the from conscienciology to my topics of interest. And for me, it's very interesting to see how is the process of writing a book, and the process of according to the conscienciology. And my question is, if the person wants to do academic research outside from the conscienciology, is it possible to publicate the book of this academic information and academic background with consensology or no? How is it?
Okay, your question is very important because
I'm a student.
yes, there's some differences in this publishing you are talking about. When you publish a consensological book, you are talking about your life. Okay, in our experience, we see people pre-author arriving in UNIESCON with his, you know, his background of his, her lives. And this is pretty much rich, you know, for us to see the life of the people. I think this was, I'm in conscientiology since 1993. My first course was 1993. And I did all kinds of courses you can imagine in conscientiology, CP1, CP2, I don't know in English, another names, but all the you know, kind of experiences in what I have here in conscientiology that helped me to understand many things, but not everything. But when I was in immersion of the writings, the writers, that happens all first weekend in Brazil, and that's going to, we are changing to online, you know, for all of the world. I was in this course, and one student, one author, started talking about his life, her life. And that for me was one of the most important things I saw in conscientiology. That was the value of one life. I never thought about that. The value of one life. The value of one life is something really amazing. You know, the existential, the fact that you exist. This is very, very deep, you know, to understand, because we don't understand this. We think in points of the life, my life, you know, how to survive, you know, money, all of these things is very important, you know, very, very important. But when you start to talk about intermissive courses and evolutionary intelligence, your past lives, your temperament, you know, how to tamponate some kind of emotions, what happens when you install your vibrational state in your holosomatic process, this is completely rich. So for us, there is no compare with the academic research, you know. Listen, I live in the US. I studied in Cleveland Clinic, one of the best clinic in US in cardiology. I'm a cardiologist here in Brazil. I have my clinic. I work in a hospital. You know, I'm thankful for, I'm thankful to the conventional science, you know, and the academic. I want to have a postgraduate someday, you know, after 2 or 3 years, I want to start some kind of post graduated after my residence. Everything I want to do this, you know, but I know exactly what is the value of the things, you know. Your book, your conscientiological book, that's what for us is interested. We are interested in your conscientiological book. Why? Because we are interested in your life become an example to help other people. This is the main point, you know. An academic is important. Is important. Listen, COVID-19, you know, the vaccine will come from the conventional science. It's very important. I'm not, you know, doing here like a bad evaluation of the science, please. It's not my intention. But when we are talking about life, your life, your multi-existential life becomes different, you know. And our editor here, Editares, they publish conscienciological book, not academic book. Do you understand?
Yes, I understood.
Okay. Oh, there's many people here. Wow.
Hey, can I ask a question, Eduardo?
David Lindsay.
Hello, sir.
My friend.
Hello, my friend.
How are you?
Look at this
Oh,
beautiful
man.
book. What a beautiful book. Yeah.
David, you are a gray hair, David.
Yeah, but at least I have hair.
But you have hair. It's
Exactly.
a different, yeah.
Exactly.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah, good to see you too. Thank you. Hey, yeah, I really got a lot of value out of your book. So thank you. I wanted to ask you about the biophilia, the monopolized biophilia, and like how you juggled the various things in your life to create the time and the mental space to, you know, finally get your book written.
Yeah, biophilia is excess of life, is the excess, you know, and you can diagnose this excess when you see that you are not having weekend, for example, you know, to relax. You don't have mind time to reflect about issues, you know, important issues, because surviving is, of course, is important. Money is important. Of course, everything is important in life. That's why you have like 75% of your energy you have to destinate to real life, to intraphysical life. But you have to develop a schedule, you know, to think about yourself. And when I say a schedule, because it's a schedule, really schedule, it's time in your schedule. For example, Friday afternoon or Friday morning, or I have friends here, Thursday morning. It's in CEAC studying, or in, you know, in other cities, not Iguaçu Falls, but, you know, you have a period of time that you take this period of time for you, okay? And in this period of time, you develop your abilities of writing. The immersion in writers, right, or in writing, the immersion in writing, that's our activity to develop, to write a book. That happens all the first weekend. Is to help people in biophilia, you know. Why? I didn't have time to finish my book. I had a son 7 years ago, and my son was born in 1813, and I just have 1 weekend per month. So that was my technician to write my book. I finished my book. It was 11 years trying to finish, but it was during the immersion of writing that I finished my book. And we have here many authors that finish their books in immersion of writing, this activity, UNIESCON activity. So you can enter in this activity from your house. We stay like there, like we are here. And we start like 2 o'clock.
We're going to facilitate with the English for everyone that that wants to join. We will facilitate.
Yes, it's a partner of ISIC International UNIESCON. And we enter in the room, in the online room, 2 o'clock, and we start talking a little bit. We can explain something. 2:30 we finish. We leave the meeting, the online meeting, and any of one goes to write his book, to read 2 hours and a half. Immersion, you know, start on Friday. And we come back to our online meeting 5 p.m., 5:15 p.m. And we stay until 6 p.m., like 45 minutes to have a debate and talking how was the experience, da, da, da. And now we will have some friends, English friends like Liliana will help us here. But I won't be in all of periods, but the period that I will be there, I can help a little bit in English. We have friends that, authors that will be the preceptor that don't speak English, but Liliana is here and will be here, could help. What can I say with this? That biophilia is a problem, but it's not the end, okay? Biophilia, you have to build a new schedule. Sometimes you are in a job that, you know, is tough. So you arrive 7 p.m. at home, like, you know, old shoes. I don't know in English a better expression, but it's like, you know, you are, you know, I want to sleep. And that, you know, stole energy in your job. You arrive at the home, you know, like, I don't want to read and write nothing. In this kind, I was like that in 2012, 2013, 2014. And immersion helped me too much.
Eduardo, okay, a little bit in the line of what we are saying about biophilia and the organization, do you have any recommendations that you would give to this situation of quarantine? Because one thing that I'm realizing is, from one side, this COVID-19 and quarantine situation, it helped us, giving us a lot of time because we avoid like the commuting and all this kind of stuff. But at the same time, it seems that the borders between the work and the personal life and the self-research, they become more difficult to realize. And it goes a little bit direction about what you say, to end up the day like burnout and not being able to do it what you planned to do. So any recommendations?
Yes, I have many recommendations for that. The first of that is that there is an illusion that quarantine, you are in a good position, you are, you know, you are not in good position because you have job from house, home office, you have to clean up your house. There is no any auxiliary here. For example, my house, I'm isolated, you know, because I work in hospital. My wife, she has bronchitis. Marina has bronchitis, so I can't stay close of her, neither my son. So I'm isolated here in this room, and I have to clean my room, work. You know, my wife have to clean up the house, works too with my son there. You know, in another room there. So you have together son, job, house, everything. So there is no way, you know, to relax. So it's an illusion. I'm home, you know. So what I'm doing now, I did 6 years doing exercises. I run in a street here in Iguaçu Falls, and did my gym 2 times a week. Now I'm doing the gym in my room, you know. I asked for my personal to send me some exercise to do here. Last night, I did that, you know. I prefer too much to do my, how do you say, esteira ergométrica?
Treadmill.
Treadmill, yeah, treadmill. I prefer too much treadmill, too much, because it's fast, you know, you go there, 40 minutes, finish. The other kind of exercise, no, you have to construct, to build these exercises, you know. It's 12 exercises in sections of 3. You do 3 times the same exercise, change the other, come back to the first, you know. it's not simple. So exercise and take care of your health is basic. It's like brush your teeth, you know. So if you want to have your mind working, you know, and producing, you have to take care of your health during the quarantine. So quarantine now, some people are, you know, losing her schedule, you know, and taking, you know, the health to go down and giving up the exercises and just, you know, the marathon of series like Netflix, you know, and not marathon of exercise in a treadmill. So my suggestion is become lucid or take lucidity to don't change your health habits and move or change your schedule for the weekends, you know, to read, to write, and have a time. You have to build a schedule. Saturday from 2 p.m. until 5 p.m. I will read. It's my read time. Talk to your wife, your family. You know, it's okay for you guys. Can I take this time for me? Yes, darling. Okay, go ahead. So you have in your schedule. It don't depends from your will. You know, it's in your schedule, like exercises. I think this is my suggestion. Otherwise, you will lose yourself in this quarantine, you know, shows, lives, and nothing to do, and that's it. Okay?
Okay, the good point. Thank you.
I'm seeing here Lígia, Decker, Tarja, Marcelo Rouanet, Juliana, Pamela, Heidi Hansen, Ana Ruiz, Maria Helena, M. Cruz Lozano, Simone, Luimara, Daniel, Felipe, Carla. Okay, I'm here. Your microphone is turned off, Liana.
Which Carla? We don't see her and we only have Carla.
Yes, I just have, we just have Carla.
Could Carla come to the fore?
Sorry, my camera doesn't work.
Okay, so
Okay.
who are you? Introduce yourself.
Oh, sorry. My name is Carla. I am Brazilian, but I live here in the United States, in
Carla
Florida.
Gaudino.
Yes,
Florida.
yes, Carla Gaudino.
Hello, Carla. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, very good to hear you.
Good.
Okay, so who else has questions? That thing that you just mentioned, the matter of building a time in our week, the schedule, it's the key, I suppose, because without that, I don't think we'll be able to manage to actually produce something, right? Very serious matter.
And one thing that I liked from your book, Eduardo, is when you talked about the techniques for consciential hygiene, and then you mentioned about doing the lab at your home. That's something that it was an open mind for me. I appreciate very much that recommendation in your book, and then it was really great because the same way that we are talking about the writing, also we can add other techniques like a vibrational state technique, and then putting a time during the week to do it every week as a habit for a period of time. I found that wonderful. Can you talk a little bit about it?
Yes, I did that here in Iguaçu Falls first 130 times in the vibrational state lab here, you know. I was thinking to write a book about this, but I don't know if it would become a book. But it was a great experience for me during 4 or 5 years. I don't remember, but I think it's 5 years doing a vibrational state lab in CEAEC. And when I was writing consensual hygiene, I was thinking people that doesn't live in Iguaçu Falls and don't live in Iguaçu Falls, and what would be possible to do. And many of these experiences I did in my home here in Iguaçu Falls, and I developed this technician in my home, and I thought, wow, if I could do that here in Iguaçu Falls, any people could do in their cities. That's why I developed this. And I think that people give up, you know, they gave up because they think that vibrational state, they want to have, you know, when install the vibrational state, you know, explode lamps and lights and, you know, move. So it's not this. This is a wrong, you know, way to say to understand the vibrational state. Vibrational state is to warming your synapses. You know, it's to breathe during emotion process, and is to prophylactic process. When you enter in the hospital, when you are talking with people that you don't understand, is to check energy of person, and it is to avoid, you know, cephalea, head pain, headache from energies. So sometimes you don't feel nothing in terms of energy and, you know, sounds. So you don't feel nothing, you don't see anything, but you are better.
Yeah, and there's this thing that once I remember Dr. Vieira said in the tutorial, that we forget that it is a state of being.
Forget what? Sorry?
We forget it is a state. Vibrational state is a state, which means is a state of being, is leading yourself into that state and trying to stay there for as long as you can, and then as long as you will be able to control it. So being, you know, moving into that, which is almost like an altered state of consciousness, because you become much more alpha in that moment.
The problem,
so, you know,
yes.
alpha state, it's an alpha state, you know, that it's different, you know. And if you manage to stay that, and you can do these experiments and extend that, you know, now half an hour, now an hour, you can achieve.
Yes.
And it totally changes your life.
Yes, I think the point is that vibrational state is a tool, okay, that doesn't solve your problems. Doesn't solve. It's a tool to solve the problem. For example, you want to move, you want to change your, you know, dictatorial way of say something, or your personality. And the problem is that you don't perceive yourself. That's the problem. We don't perceive. We don't see our nose here. We see the nose of everybody, but not our nose. And the vibrational state is a moment when you are more sensible for your expression. And if you want to recycling your consciousness without vibrational state, it's, for me, it's almost impossible. It's impossible because the emotions swallow you, swallow your consciousness. You know, emotion is too strong. It's an elephant. And you have these instincts of your physical body, you know, it's heaviest than emotion. So we are in a visão. This is a visão, you know. This is a count. This is a, yeah. You know, it's too hard. It's too hard. How can I develop this without energy? It's impossible. But to change energy and to become better is the solution? No, it's not the solution. Become better is the beginning. You know, it is the start. When you start more self-intruded, you know, yeah, when you start the intrusion process, emotions, okay, you start to clean up your emotions, but bad emotions is result of your bad ideas. So the first level of self-intrusion is from energetical and emotions, but you will arrive in a moment that you are encurralado, how can I say?
You are put into a corner, you're cornered.
Yeah, in a corner. You are in a corner because you must, you know, you will must to understand your way of think, your intention. For example, one of the experience I have in the book was understand that my bad intention was the responsible for my self-intrusion. Ego, self. Do everything to myself. This is a bad intention. And people have shame to talk about this. You know, they think that why we were in a baratosphere dimension after death, last life, because your good intention, because you had a good intention, you had a bad intention, you know, and now we have bad intention. You know, you have to qualify our intention. That's the point. When you qualify your intention, you become more self-intruded. And this is a mental somatic process, not emotion. While you are anger, proud, sorrow, heartache, jealousy, all kinds of emotions, this is, you know, this is superficial. You will need vibrational state. You will need, you know, balanced, self-balance of your emotions. Okay, but you are not solving the problem. Maybe the person is jealously because, you know, is jealously because she or her or he has the self-worthlessness, for example. You know, put people, all the people are above of him, of her. That's the reason he was jealously. Why she or he doesn't understand this point, she or he will have jealously and will need vibrational states and many techniques to re-equilibrate the emotions. But this is not the solution of the problem.
Very good. If we can now close because we are past our time already. Thank you very much, Eduardo. It was wonderful. Thank you very much, really.
Oh, appreciate it.
And I want to just remind you that the next presentation of the Bridge Writers will be in June, on the 28th of June. So Sunday, right? Same time, same Zoom link. And we will have Mabel Teles, and I still don't know exactly what she's going to talk about, but I promise that in the meantime, I will put the information out. So thank you for now and have a nice weekend and see you soon.
Yeah, let me just say the last thing here. I took a picture of you guys, okay? So I wait for your lives, okay? No, just kidding, just kidding. But it was very, very nice for me. Good energies here. It's very interesting because I'm in my room here with all of these energies here, and okay, it's really nice to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone. Good to see you all. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye. Bye.